Hey there, it's Lux. In case you didn't know or couldn't tell by the title having my name in it, I host a show here on YouTube called The Lux Factor. Usually on shows, the hosts and judges will judge contestants and give them their placement. However, with my show, I had the audience judge the season because it was an IRL singing show. Now, this is how we get to the topic of today. Throughout the season, I would put my rankings in the Discord server, which, side note, you should join. And I would give positive feedback to the contestants. So, I'm going to show y'all how I would have judged this season. This is all based on my thoughts when the episode released, so it will feel like I was actively judging as I watched. One more thing, season 2 of the show is still casting. We have 4 spots left, so if you want to join, fill out the Google form, or you can send me a DM on Discord if the form isn't open for you. Now let's get on to episode 1. This episode, I do not have any differences from the actual judging, so instead I will explain how the placements work and what they mean. The main placements are, in order from best to worst, winner, high, safe, low, bottom 2, and eliminated. Winner refers to whoever had the best points at the end of voting. High refers to the second and or third placer in the voting. Safe refers to whoever was in the top or bottom 3 in the episode with more than 6 contestants. The only exception is the group finals, but that's just because I'm different. Low means being in the bottom 3 but placing higher than being eliminated and bottom 2. And then bottom 2 and eliminated, I feel like, are self-explanatory. So the placements in this episode are Matt winning, Potato and Sally placing high, Kay being safe, Tide being low, Quill being in the bottom 2, and unfortunately Eddie being eliminated first. This makes Eddie the pork chop of the season. I really think Group A came swinging hard during the premiere, and I could not be any prouder. Also, I should mention this now in case it wasn't obvious. The placements are based off of RuPaul's Drag Race, that's why I also refer to Eddie as the pork chop. Episode 2 is the first episode in which I have any changes, but it's not that big of a change. So the winner of the episode is still Wished, Cookie and Bonkers are high, Gino is safe, Savage is low, Landon is in the bottom 2, and Quix is still eliminated. The change that was made was Savage and Landon switched positions. Like I said, not that big of a change, but in this episode we established that Wished is truly a pretty princess. Now we come on to episode 3, which has our biggest change so far. Initially, Sally was eliminated. However, she will survive this week. Placements are Potato winning, Matt and Kay as high, Sally as low, Tide in the bottom 2, and Quill being eliminated. This throws a big wrench in the season because, first off, Quill makes it to the top 7. And second of all, Sally is still here. So I am going to have to estimate where I think Sally will place just based off of their performances throughout the season, not based off any previous knowledge or anything. So I also gave Potato over the wind because their diamond performance was so good. So about the elimination order, let's get into this. The winner of episode 4 is still Wished. Princess and the Frog, my beloved. Bonkers and Cookie are still high. And here's where the change comes in. Gino is low. Gino was initially eliminated. Looking back, I probably would eliminate Gino again, but since this is going off how I thought in the moment, that's not what's going to happen. And so Landon is in the bottom 2 and Savage is eliminated. Savage initially was eliminated in the merge but came back because of the comeback round. Maybe she'll return again, but we will have to find out. Again, episode 5 has more changes. I'm just that different. Remember, Sally is here, so I have to estimate where she's going to be. Potato is still the winner. However, I did move Kay into the high placement and Matt into the safe placement. Sally is, however... I said however too much. Sorry. Sally is in the bottom 2, because I think the other 3 are stronger, but Tide still gets eliminated, so there's not really any more predictions needed right now. Episode 6 stays the same, it's just Gino takes Savage's placement. I'm keeping Bonkers' disqualification right here because it just makes the season less messy. So Cookie earns their first win, Wish is high, and Gino and Landon are safe. This elimination and aftermath was extremely messy, but finally we get on to the merge. I have to use my predicting skills to place everyone because we have Sally and Gino here. Luckily, I'm working on the track record spreadsheet for my way, so I can keep track of who's who and who's not. But it's so confusing to predict all the placements, and so I settled on Potato getting their third win in a row, Wished and Cookie as high, Matt and Kay as safe, Sally as low, and our double elimination being Gino in 7th and Landon in 8th. It's so hard to predict how Gino and Sally will place because there's always the chance of them having a turnaround performance and win the whole competition, but here we are. We've made it to the comeback round. Quill being here does kind of make it hard, but I've settled on the top 3 being Savage, Quill, and Tide. All the other eliminated contestants are out. In the actual season, I thought Sally won the top 3 performance, but since she's not here, Savage is going to return and win. And also earns immunity for next week, so she will be safe. Even more predictions time! With Sally here, it's a bit weird, but the placements are going to be Cookie winning, Potato and Kay as high, Savage as safe, Matt in the low position, Wished in the bottom 2, and Sally being eliminated. It feels so weird to have Matt's last 3 placements being safe, safe, and low. But at least Sally has a better placement here as she places 7th instead of 11th. We go into episode 10 with the same top 6, so luckily and hopefully there is no more predicting on my side. Episode 10, Kay is still quitting. He quit because he was sick for a while, so we will have 1 winner, 2 high placements, and 2 safe placements. We have Matt getting his 2nd win, which I believe initially, if I remember correctly, that was Potato's 3rd win. So, however, Potato took Matt's 2nd win, so it's like, it's gonna be fine. Wish and Potato is high, and Cookie and Savage is safe. Potato, like I said, did win originally, but I am just so obsessed with Matt's performance here. You do not know the chokehold this performance has on me. Episode 11 really does mark Matt's redemption sweep for the rest of the competitive episodes before the finale. Placements are Matt winning, Wish and Cookie is high, Potato in the bottom 2, and Savage getting eliminated in 5th again. I love Potato down. Do not get me wrong. They are a great friend of mine. I look up to them so much just because of how kind they are. But that does not take away from the fact that they did unfortunately do too much for this. Because there is that very fine line of showing off and doing too much, and sadly, Potato just really overdid it. Episode 11 is honestly my favorite episode of the season. Everyone gave it their all. There was no bad performance. And honestly, Wish did not deserve to be eliminated. I'm sorry. This was, however, the hardest episode to judge. But initially, and now, I landed on Matt earning his 4th win, Wished placing high, and Potato being in the bottom 2 again, and unfortunately Cookie being eliminated before the finale. This feels like such a cluster on my heart because I love my contestants for this season so much, but I really thought the top 3 was so balanced out with each other, and even with Wish in the top 4, they had initially the most dominant performances of any of the contestants the top 4 did. And that still kind of continues here, but it's more evened out. And, not as dominant here, but we still love them. This top 4 really had different strengths and weaknesses. It was so well-rounded, and I love that. Going into the finale, let's cover PPE, aka points per episode, and track records of the top 3, and just have to predict finally because Wish is here. Matt is the front runner with a PPE average of 4 and a track record of 32. Wish's PPE is 3.875 and has a track record of 31. And Potato's PPE is 3.625 with a track record of 29. I have no clue what to do for this top two. I know Matt is 100% locked in, but with Wish and Potato, it can go either way. However, I have settled on Potato getting third again because I feel like Wished would have brought out all the stops, really, and all of them did. Everyone in the finale brought out some of their best performances and really gave it their all. But I can now announce the winner of the Lux Factor my way is Matt. Matt still wins the season. But I think with the different placements and elimination order, the season isn't as top four dominated. And like the top three all had a moment where they were at least in the bottom three. No one stayed above high or stayed above safe. And I really think that allowed other contestants to get other placements when I think they really deserved and how they shined. Here, I'll give you some time to look at the comparison of my judging and the actual judging of the season. It's crazy to see so many changes, especially because I agree with most of the placements. Sally and Gino got to go farther, and I'm happy for them. And like I said earlier, casting for the Lux Factor Season 2 is still open, and we have only 4 spots left for Season 2. Thank you to everyone who supported the show, and thank you for watching. I'm Lux, and I hope you have a great rest of your day or night.